Hello, everybody. This is Tony from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping you look better, feel better without the pressure. So, what's going on today, ladies? Well, today we're going to talk about your skincare. I'm on a rant again about skincare, and the big thing that's really on my mind today is your skincare killing you? Yes. Oh my gosh. How many times have you heard in the news about ingredients that are in your skincare and personal care items that might be hazardous to your health? Look, people, if it's got warnings for pregnant ladies, if it's got warnings for infants and things of that nature, ding, 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 that should be a red flag. No, that's not something you want to be putting on your body or on any family member whatsoever. So, what is the big deal? Well, the big deal is too many times we forget that our skin, this flesh that we live in, is a huge organ. And so everything it comes into contact with will end up in our bloodstream. So, environmental toxins, you can try to minimize your exposure to environmental hazards and things of that nature by making sure you're covered up, making sure you take care of your skin, you don't have lesions in your skin, which allows bacteria and other toxins to enter your blood stream and things of that nature. But more than that, if you regulate what you put directly on your skin, goodness gracious, you can make a huge difference in your health and well being for the short term and for the long term. So, what are we talking about? I'm talking about today, we're talking about name brand skincare lines. I'm going to identify three because those are the three I'm calling out for the interim because I have a ever going rant about skincare. And today I'm calling out Clarins, I'm calling out Shiseido, I'm calling out Estee Lauder because these are companies that having worked in healthcare and the cosmetics industry myself as a sales consultant and beauty expert, I used to love these products and I love them because, they were marketed so well to me as an employee and as a consumer. Oh, yes, it's safe, it's good for sensitive skin. My rant about Clarins is along the same lines. I was always instructed and told that, by supervisors and educators from corporate that, these were plant based and plant derived and they were so healthy for your skin and all the sourcing and all this drama and this and that went into getting these exotic ingredients, only to find out that this stuff, whatever plant based anything they had in this skincare, is overwhelmed by the toxic chemicals that they've put into this stuff. Now, if you followed my last video, I was talking about the Environmental Working Group, the nonprofit that does their own research and studies and, really educates the public and agencies at large regarding the safety, and efficacy of a lot of the skincare household items we use in the house in terms of safety for human consumption, human contact, and as well as for the environment. They've done a tremendous job. They are not themselves without criticism, and I think that's largely from big industry that sees them as a whistleblower. But that aside, they've done tremendous work, and I use them myself in order to create a baseline in terms of what I consider is acceptable for me and my family, and what I, want to tell people about and educate people about so that they know where to go in terms of educating themselves about, things like their produce, their food sources in general, skincare, all of that, and then just bring to light there are different alternatives out there, people. You don't have to be enslaved or at the mercy of companies that don't have your best interest at heart. And so that's what I'm talking about today. We women are huge targets for marketing, so are children, and we, are really have been victimized by these industries. And I feel like, what, enough with that craziness. And so today I'm calling out these three companies that I've, chosen simply because I did some research on them, and these are, like I said, I've used these products personally myself. I've used Estee Lauder, I've used Clarins, I've used Shiseido as a bona fide skincare freak. I've used it all. I've got great skin as a testimony to that. But by the same token, when you do your research and start becoming a real advocate, educating yourself about your own health and safety, and really getting empowered and really becoming aware of what the alternatives are for your health and things of that nature, and what is being marketed to us here in the US in particular. Our regulatory agencies are doing a very poor job of protecting us as consumers, and that's why I said, you know what, we as consumers and as fellow educators, we've got to step up to the plate and be advocates for our own safety, for our own health, and that of our environment and that of our families. Because guess what, the only real concerns that most of these industries have is their bottom line, not your health, not the health of the environment. Because if that were the case, we wouldn't have so much pollution and so many whistleblowers in different various industries regarding the toxicity of chemicals that we're being exposed to by companies, and they're not informing us about them. So today we're talking about Clarins and some of that, and then I've got a running list. Follow the video that follows after this, where I call out some of the ingredients. The typical ingredient that's really 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 bad in terms of its effects on us as people, as human beings, is the fragrances that are used by a number of these skincare lines. Even Clarins, Shiseido, they're all wrongdoers in this category. But Clarins got a particularly bad score from the Environmental Working Group for some of the chemicals it used, and one of them is the fragrance, and it's in a number of their products. I've actually got a running list here. Yep, they've got 16 different products. Their Clarins UV Plus, anti-pollution. Yeah, isn't that ironic? Their anti-pollution protection tinted sunscreen. Yeah, that's got a score of 9, and they score safety and acceptability from a range of 1, which is is the best, to 2, which is the worst, and you really 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 need to restrict your exposure to that. So Clarins got ranges, a lot of their products range from a 7 to 9, simply because of the fragrances, which are known to be let me just look at the list here. The concerns associated with that, according to the Environmental Working Group, is allergies, immunotoxicity, miscellaneous irritation, skin, ears, eyes, nose, organ system toxicity. Oh my goodness, it's just terrible. Another ingredient too is one that's called oxybenzone. I do have that on the list on the video that follows. You can see that. It's known to enhance, it has enhanced skin absorption. It's biochemical. It changes your body at a biochemical and cellular level. It's immunotoxic. Use with extreme restrictions is what they're stating here. It is an endocrine disruptor, so don't want this stuff in your skincare. So you see where I'm going, people? So that's just that. Now, Clarins is not the only one that's guilty of this particular ingredient. The oxynoxate is known for doing the same thing. It accumulates in these cells of the body, which is not good. The long-term effects are very, very questionable. Also, another ingredient is the retinol palmitate, the vitamin A derivative that a number of them use. Estee Lauder got a bad score for that because of a number of the effects associated with that. It's been known to have developmental and reproductive changes. So I really don't think this is something you want to be using. So that's why I'm just like, people, get educated about what's in your food, where your food is sourced from. Get educated about your skincare products and your makeup. Now, these ingredients I've listed, the fragrances, the retinol palmitate, the propylparabens, all of that stuff is in both skincare and makeup. And so if you've been following my girl, Whipped Cream Girl, Angie. She's got excellent resources about organic skincare lines and lines that are not toxic. They're green in every category and they're safe to use, and you don't have to worry about nasty little side effects or nasty little, health effects. So it's just on us to really to plug in and get educated about this stuff. Estee Lauder also scored as actually it scored just as bad as Clarins in these categories for the same reason I mentioned the fragrance additives. Follow the video. I've got a list, a few, just some of the additives that are found in these typical makeup lines like Shiseido, Lancome, Estee Lauder, and Clarins. The three I called out today was Estee Lauder, Clarins, and Shiseido. Shiseido also has these unfortunate ingredients in a number of their products as well. It's in their Shiseido Beneficence Extra Creamy Cleansing Foam. It's in their Bio Performance Super Cleansing Scrub. It's also in the Shiseido Future Solution LX Extra Rich cleansing foam. So all of these things, they've got all this bad stuff in it. And the fragrances are the number one problem. The fragrances and then these other chemicals like the butylparaben, the geraniol, it's highly questionable in terms of its uses. It's just a problem child. It's got issues associated with immunotoxicity, allergies, persistent bioaccumulation, which means it builds up in the cells and interrupts cellular function. It's terrible. And I know I'm sounding dramatic, but hey, it's life we're talking about. It's health we're talking about. Who would have thunk it? Your skincare, your makeup, none of that's safe from the industry and all the crap they add into your makeup and your skincare. So this is Tony from Freedom at the Crossroads. Check out the video that follows, get some tips and tricks. I'll also include the link again for the environmental working group where you can just plug in whatever skincare product, household item you're using, and they will whip it right out to you, and you get to know whether that's something you want in your house or you want to detox your pantry from. This is Tonya from Freedom at the Crossroads. Follow me on Tonya Taria Health on Instagram, and let's connect, subscribe, and share. Enjoy the rest of the video. Get educated because education is power.